Alright, so you're probably wondering, why on earth am I getting rid of this thing? Well, it's been sitting. It's been at least 2 years, it's been in storage. It's an expensive thing that's going to cost a lot to finish up the way that I was going to do it. And my needs have changed. I don't drive that much anymore. I don't want to have to drive a lot anymore. And the fact is, I really would just rather have enough money to go out and buy a pre-made electric car like a Tesla or a Leaf or something. So, here we are. This electric conversion is not going to be done the way that I thought it was. What's cool though is that the buyer wants to use it in an interesting way, which allows me to actually finish it and actually drive it, which is even the icing of the cake of the deal. So, I've got this new YouTube channel. That's the other reason I'm letting this go is because it's time to cut my losses on it and free up the resources for something else. That something else is my Ben the Maker YouTube channel. That channel is going to be linked in the description, and there'll be a music video at the end of this video. Actually, there'll probably be 2. If you like the stuff, please subscribe over there. It's very difficult to start a new YouTube channel, so I'd appreciate it if you did. If it's not your thing, that's cool too. On to the Truckster. A few modifications have been made since the last time you saw it. Notably, it is painted and looks a lot nicer. I put in the mirrors. That's the one that it came with, factory. Anyway, painted it up, installed the floorboard. I actually put the back panels on, but the new owner, instead of using it as, a grocery getter or whatever, a daily driver, or just a fun car to drive on the street, she is a florist. She's going to use it to display her products in the back. She's going to fabricate a set of flower boxes, maybe an enclosure, I'm not sure, to be able to show off her plants. They'd prefer it to be electric drive. I had pulled the motor to make it possible to sell because I had it listed for a while with the electric motor and no one wanted it. The controller and all these other components were pretty expensive and it wasn't done. It was a project. So she'd rather have it go, so I said to myself, who better but me to make it into a low-speed, useful vehicle. So that's what I did. But this time I wired it so it would run on 12 volt. As most of you know, electric motors will run on pretty much any voltage you want to throw at them as long as it's got enough power to spin it. And in this case, 12 volts has just enough power to move it around. It moves, I would say, at a brisk walking pace, maybe a little faster. Uphill's not quite so fast. It's going to do exactly what this new buyer wants, and I'm super excited. I'm glad she's really into it and excited to get it. So I still had big relays, and turns out these big old relays are just as good for controlling that motor. The voltage is low enough that a simple on and off is good enough. You don't really need to have much more control than that. She also wants me to paint it a different color. She's put down a deposit. She's going to buy it. I'm not worried about that. So I'm going to paint it the color of her choice so it'll work better with her brand. The first task here is to get this switch set in right there. And I'm going to use this piece of aluminum that I've got left over, drill a hole, heat this up, and bend it over a pipe of the same dimension over in the vise. Alright. Enlarge a little bit. See, the switch, I don't have a hole big enough. My smallest hole saw is too big. But I do have this, which won't fit in this drill. Huh. Well, I thought I had what I needed here, but well, let's see. Rock drilling bit. What do you got? It'll do it. Matter of fact, I might be able to now get it with the smooth bore. Let's see. Not quite. Found the bit I was looking for. Let's try that one first. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh. Come on. Don't want to lose an arm here. Ah. That'll do. Let's see. Ah! Perfection. Here. Come on. Ah, much better. What's going on? Alright, let's get this bent. Turns out the old Truckster axle turned pry bar is gonna come in handy. Ah! Alright, that's probably good enough. Ah! Yeah, she says, yeah. I want to get just a little more. That looks good. Not quite. There we go. Ah! So I think now if I cool. So now I got something that'll fit the profile of the handlebar. Just need to clean it up. I'm gonna go with something like that. I'd say that's about as good as it gets on a first try right there. And now, to my very best friends, the sheet metal screw. That's going to work really well. I just need to get it off of there and paint it before I finish up the wiring. Okay. I just fabricated this little cover to cover up some of the holes here. And I figure it'd be nice to know that, hey, I'm on, right? Ready to lurch forward. So I'm going to wire this light up, little LED trailer clearance light, so it turns on with a key. Just a piece of heavy flashing. Good stuff. Alright, so I'm setting up a feed. It's going to be LED, so this is good enough. A feed wire for the taillights. This bed frame steel is like rock hard. It's very difficult to drill. So these little sheet metal screws, you actually have to drill them ahead of time, and it just dulls the crap out of the bits. Something like that. Gotta be a better solution. Alright, so new plan of attack here. This metal is just very difficult to drill through. I think what I'm going to do is use vehicle bonding tape. Just very, very strong tape. The fact is, this isn't going down the road anytime soon anyway, and it's very likely they're going to redo all of this bed. So whether or not they even keep these lights, I mean, I suspect they'll keep the lights, but they'll probably move them. There we go. Alright. I think I'll run the wires underneath like that. Bam! In this case, I'm just going to solder these two together. Run them over to there, and then, well, you'll see. Not as important that these get a good covering because it's just ground, but I want it to hold together. So anyway, just get the wires twisted and twist them together like so, and smooth it out as best as I can. There we go. Then take the old soldering iron, find the spot that's been tinned. That is the spot that will melt the solder. Put a little ball of it right there and touch the wire. Once I see it connecting with the wire, now what I'm going to do is, well, it's kind of hard to do and say at the same time, but we got to get the wire hot enough so that, there it is, so that the solder will flow all the way across. And you see as I do this, the solder will go towards the heat. That's what you want. There we go. And get that to cool. Pull the sheath over real quick. Bam. And there we go. Moment of truth. Hey, I see some red light. They work! Sweet. Alright, so I'm gonna paint all of this, obviously. And the easiest way to do that is to get this electronics alpha here. Just gonna make the job of taping much simpler. And this will come right out the back. And I'll just tape that. Okay, so those are good. Okay, there we go. So now the horn itself, just out of the way, is just threaded like this. Put my hand on the nut in the back, get it pulled out. There you go. I'm really just taping off the actual LED itself. If the rest of the fixture gets a little paint on it, it's not going to hurt anything at all, and you'll never see it. It's other wires for the blinkers, by the way. That's why it's not going to anything. I did not hook up the blinkers. I feel like for the use this machine is going to get, there is no need in fooling with blinkers. You know, I could take this off, but it's just as easy to do this. But yeah. Now I'm going to set this over here, which is going to take a little bit of paint off, but not enough to be a problem. So the bottom half of the snout is first coated. The only thing I don't like is I've got a little bit of orange peel going on over here, but it's the only place that I see it happening, so that's good, because I can wipe that off and I think it'll go away. I'm going to just tape up this light so it remains black and orange, and everything else will get a coat of white. There we go. Just a nice light coat to make it all pretty again. I've been debating on how to paint these. I could tape them. It would take a fair amount of tape, and I'd have to do it in stages. You know, I could only do one side at a time. These are split rims. I've had them apart, as some of you have been watching the videos know, and it would not be too hard to get them apart again. It also would prevent me from painting the valve stem, which would be nice. I think it's going to be the quickest, easiest way, and I can get them all painted in one go. Just like that. Pop right off of there. Tap a screwdriver in there and see if that splits them. Ah, yeah. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. Now the next question is, how easy are the beads going to come off? Let's see. Not so easy, I guess. Well, I've got a functional tire machine now, finally. So I might as well see if it'll break the bead. This is a little small, I think, for this machine. But it'll probably work. And I still think that's going to be easier than taping them. Actually, it's less about how easy it's going to be and more about what is the best solution to the problem. Not today. Let's try it. And as always, light coats are better. That fan ought to make that go a little faster. Alright, so I'm going to get these lights covered up and out of the way so I can paint this, and I'm going to tape off this window, take this off, and then I'm pretty well ready to paint. I can just tie these up in a plastic bag and that'll keep the overspray off of them. I'm not going to spray too far down this line anyway. I like to work clockwise, and I want to work in all one direction, so when I go to pull the tape off, I won't be pulling off little pieces. I can pull it all off in one direction. You'll see. I'll start on a nice flat section. Just kind of work it up in there. Take a little flathead and just push that little thing over where I can't really get my fingers in there. Set one end, keep it about where I want it. I'll line the other end. Smooth it out. Let me know what you think of the color change in the comments. Obviously I picked out the yellow, so I like that color, but when you give up on your dream for a bigger dream, you gotta close some doors if you want to open a window. So part of closing a door on a physical object is that, you know, it's like selling a house. You hope the next person doesn't change the paint color, but you know they're gonna. You're gonna knock down walls, do whatever in the hell they want. It'll never look the same again. That's okay. Nothing ever stays the same. Everything you think stays the same, really. It's just changing. You just didn't notice it until later. This is dollar store masking tape, in case you were wondering. And as long as you don't leave it on there more than 24 hours, it works just as good, or maybe not quite as good as bandage tape. Close. Switch ends here. Alright. Not going to worry about this leading edge because I'm going to cover it with this. Just be a waste of tape. And I don't like to waste when I can help it. It is important that you keep some tension on it while you do it. Oh, geez, that ended up a little bigger than I wanted to. Let's go up a little. Same thing, I'm just going to fold it up on itself. Then I'm going to tape it to itself and to the window. Cat. Rinse and repeat over here. There we go. All right. Okay. You always miss stuff. First coat, the second coat. Always want to change the direction of your spray with these rattle cans. They just don't cover all that well. This is the wet edge. I'm going to go with the clean edge for this part. Yeah. Alright, it's been 24 hours, so it's time to pull this off. See what the final look is going to be. Oh. Oh, not quite. Alright, let's try this. There we go. Ah, no overspray. Not at all so far. There. That looks really good. Okay. Do we have a horn? We do! Oh man. Let's try out the new transmission. Should be in forward. We are. Should be in reverse. We are.
I'm ready.
All right, headed to our new home. See if he makes the corner. I bet he will. Oh yeah, plenty of room.
Hello and Grace.
Gracie, that's a great name. Alright y'all, I want to thank you for watching. This has been a little bittersweet for me. I'm glad to see it go to someone that's really going to use it. It's a little bit of a bummer to not finish a big project like this, but it's funding the next thing. And the next thing is here, and here. Also, definitely be sure to check out Phoebe. She's the gal who bought the Truckster. She named it Gracie. The links to her social media stuff is down in the description. You can check out the next step of the journey for the Truckster. Thanks for watching.